Hey everyone, it's XJ9 here, and today we're going to be making a 11.6 patch notes for League. I was going to make this like the last patch as well, but yeah, stuff happened, and I would like to get more consistent with this and maybe make other League content, such as like jungle things, or I don't know, maybe even paths or like explanations, like maybe me playing and just giving a live talk through, because I like doing things live, which is always fun, you know. So this patch note is actually pretty big because they're actually the theme of this is pretty much just nerfing sustain really, and some other minor things. So yeah, it's a pretty big patch. So yeah, let's get into it. Um, so Akali is being changed. Akali gets changed a lot, just because she keeps being very unhealthy in the top level play or more specifically pro play. And I'm gonna be honest. I mean, we're gonna try to dissect what happens, but I don't really play Akali. I know how Akali works, but then when you look at like what she does now, it's kind of hard to like get see like does this make much sense? Just because I haven't played it. so, uh, so right off the bat, they're nerfing her base HP, so she's more vulnerable early. However, her HP growth is increased, so she actually scales better past level, I think 7 or 8. I think level 8 at least, maybe 9. So it's just a bit more squishy. They removed Assassin's Mark no longer restores 10, 15, 20 energy, which is after you hit a champion with an ability, you can auto them for bonus damage and get energy back. However, I think the bonus damage is probably still in place, just not the energy. Her Q is being changed from 120 to 100 energy to 130 to 70. Uh, it's a nerf early, well, quote unquote a nerf early, just because there's other changes in place. But it's really cheap at max rank. They removed the rank 5 bonus damage. No longer deals 25% bonus damage to minions and monsters. Um, I I mean, I guess she just can't push as hard. Again, it depends on how all the other nerfs work. Uh, Twilight Shroud now increases Akali's maximum energy by 80 and still restores 80 energy. So now you can initiate with her W instead of having to like use some abilities into W. Because sometimes if you got caught out or want to initiate a fight with W, it feels really bad. So kind of solves that issue. I think it just makes her more flexible with her decisions she can make. So that's probably good, honestly. In terms of gameplay, her E total damage from 100 to 380, 70 AD, 100 AP. It's being changed to 100 to 450. So base damage got buffed a lot as it goes on. The level 1 value is the same. AD ratio and AP are increased. That's the total damage though. Um, and before it was 50% between the first cast and second cast. Now it's 30% on the first cast and 70% on the second. So that's quite interesting. A lot of people use her E as a uh, way to get back to opponents via minions or shooting or shroud. So it's very interesting. Uh, you might see a lot of aggressive Akali players, but you can actually punish this quite harshly. I think it's kind of a risk versus reward thing, and trying to encourage aggression instead of like being safe. So that's pretty interesting, but that's a really big buff on her E. So uh, I mean, it'd be pretty funny if I don't know. That's a really strong ability. That's kind of funny. So we'll see how that pans out. Her first dash is being turned to magic instead of physical. That's very minor, but that's nice for her. First dash damage was 125 to 325, and now it's 80 to 360. So it doesn't really do much damage anymore, but does more. It does pretty much the same damage after level 2 and a bit more at level 3. But they buffed they gave it an AP ratio the first cast. So that's nice. So overall, it does more damage. So that's nice. Also works better with magic penetration. So I don't know. This sounds like she's more solid just based off these changes. Honestly, this looks like it honestly just looks like a straight up buff. To me, it just feels like you might have to play a little bit safe early to like level 5 maybe or 3 at least. So I don't know. I mean, it depends honestly. Maybe maxing E some weird cheese or something, but you probably max Q. Who knows? Nar, his damage on his hitting his W like 3 times, I believe, has been nerfed. So instead of doing 10 to 50, it's 0 to 40. I don't know if he maxes. I think he maxes this. second or third. I'm not really sure. I don't look at Nor at all. But regardless, I believe he maxes his Q first, so it's quite a significant nerf to his harass because in fights he can proc this 2 to 3 times. So this actually trims quite a lot of damage from him, like even early. So like in an extended fight, you can proc it 2 or 3 times. So it's like 30, 20 to 30 damage. So that's nice. Um, so Hecarim's getting nerfed. His level 1 Q is the same, and later on it's less damage by like his rank 5 is 20 less damage. Pretty much it's just less damage on his Q. Is it significant? I don't think so. I don't think this is gonna change anything. Uh, the damage, he still clears the jungle really fast. The only way this nerf would be impactful is if he did less damage to minions or something. Again, I feel like I don't know what's gonna say this or like just put it out there is the problem with the new jungle in some of these cases with like Hecarim and Udyr being OP or whatever is simply because their mana costs are so cheap. So maybe they should look into the mana cost of things or like nerfing the damage they do to monsters because they can spam it so much. It's just the mana cost is a really big factor in that. So maybe Riot will do that eventually, but maybe not. So I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe the jungle doesn't even need the mana buff on a lot of characters because I like the new jungle because of that. But I mean, they have a new tier as well, which is nice. But some junglers can build a mana immune now, which is interesting. So I don't know. We'll see what they do about that. It's not my job. Karthus's Q does less damage as you rank it up, just to slow down his clearing speed. His clearing speed uh, is pretty much gonna be so like really fast early. Is this later on? Is this trimming damage a little bit by I mean, yeah, 10. So that's the base damage. So quite quite a bit later on. Early game doesn't really matter. LeBlanc, I haven't seen LeBlanc in like a billion years. Her mana cost just went down on her W. I later ranks. I think she maxed that second. I don't even know. Probably honestly. So woo, I guess. Uh, Lillia's R is increased cooldown. This is the biggest deal. It's not actually that bad of a nerf, honestly, because she rushes Lucidity Boots anyway, and also later on, they actually did nerf Revenus Hunter, so she will probably just go Ultimate Hunter because Revenus Hunter was kind of a luxury for her anyway. She doesn't need it, but and also they're buffing Smite healing and Gromp healing, so they're just gonna take Ultimate Hunter, and the same thing's gonna happen. So if this was the nerf that they came up with, I would even expect more nerfs to her because they're just gonna swap runes. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Pike cooldown decreases as you level it up. I don't know if you max the second or third or even first. I don't think first, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know. I don't mind much comment. It's kind of whatever. Rakton's bonus HP is lower at rank 2 and rank 3 by quite a lot, by 100, and then 200. Good because I think he's just easy. I don't know, like it seems like a lot. So good job. I don't know. I think it's fine because I mean, honest, 750 is a lot. Silas, his bonus attack speed with his passive is from 80 to 125. That just helps. I think just well, obviously get your auto off and use your passive more. So I guess that's nice. Kingslayer, the cooldown went from 13 to 7 to 13 to 6, so that's a buff as you rank it up. Cost is lower as well by 10 on each rank, and heal ratio went down though. So you can use it more. AP rate, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You can use it more. So that's like a slight tuning, but I would say it's better. So yeah, he just got buffed. Urgot, this is a funny because they made his on hit effectiveness from 75, no, from 50 to 75. But then now they're reverting because Titanic Hydro Rush is really stupid and strong. So yeah, uh, no on hit for him, I guess. Urgot is it's kind of weird. No one plays him because I think he's fine as well if you just build him traditionally. It's just I think I don't know, people just get stuck in the idea of meta. Like, oh, what's meta? But it's like, I don't know, you can make anything meta. It's just people don't like being the leader. So, oh well. People are just gonna forget about Urgot again for some reason, even though he's fine. Volibear. Yeah, probably gonna see a lot of Volibear jungle because he is more healing from wounded monsters. It's no longer halved on his W. Uh, I'm not sure how long he gets in the jungle. I think he actually does take quite a bit of damage. So, yeah, he's gonna heal a lot now, which is something. And is E damage now 750 all ranks from 150 to 750. So uh, that's quite significant on camps with like I think like Gromp, Red, Blue, Large Krug, and like Dragon and Baron and stuff. So yeah, he's a lot better now. So you're definitely gonna see Volbear jungle because I think he just got abandoned top lane. So now they're just gonna make him a jungler, which makes sense because he's always been a jungler honestly. Um, Zenzile's, I mean, honestly, just getting a bunch of changes with like AP ratios or whatever. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about this, but yeah, the heal is base healing on his passive is going down overall at all ranks. Some weird bug fix with his passive in W. I don't play this champion, so I have no clue honestly about the specifics, but yeah, that's good. Uh, bonus damage, base damage went down by 4, not really significant at all. Uh, his cooldown went from 12 to 8 to 12 to 6, so that's quite a substantial buff. Mana cost went up. Doesn't matter though, because you have infinite mana in the jungle, so it does not matter at all. Um, Reduce damage against minions, so this has helped them push it out, so that's nice. That's a good buff. Slash cast time from 0.5 to zero point 0.4 based on attack speed. Now it's 0.5, a consistent. Consistency is nice, so that's fine. Thresh damage now increases by up to 33 based on critical strike chance. This to allow for different builds. Thresh range went up by 100 to 1,000. Thresh missile speed went up from 5,000 to 6. That's a very big buff on his W. Thresh now challenges enemy champions and monsters reveals them for 3 seconds. I honestly forget. Like, I think it just gives him armor pen or something. So that's nice. It also means like when you're doing blue buff or something, you go in that bush, you can actually keep attacking. And it's like some weird thing happens. Um, yeah, and that's why I said to make a visual clarity with the hitbox now because it goes behind him a bit. Um, audacious charge. No, not audacious charge. Audacious charge. Audacious charge cast range increases to 110, 1,100 on challenge enemies. I'm not sure what the range is originally, but that's probably good. So, I guess I didn't do the AP thing actually, which is very interesting. Um, um, oh no! This is what no. They just made it weird. They're making it for simplicity reasons, right? So yeah, this is actually no. So they do the AP thing. So this is all good. Overall, if you were to build him like a tanky fighter or whatever, or even a crit, whatever, all this is a buff. This is everything here is a buff. Like the nerf to his healing and the slight base damage just doesn't even matter. It's honestly whatever. Uh, AP adjustments, heal AP ratio for 40, 55% AP, thrush damage ratio 50% AP, and damage ratio 100% AD, 110 AP from 100% AD. Um, I think that's just kind of a for fun thing. If the thing is, I don't get about these AP builds is that if they're so toxic, they get nerfed to the point where they're literally just for fun, so it doesn't even matter anyway. But yeah, he looks pretty solid now, so that's good. Healing items. So yeah, it is where so this is gonna be a bunch of nerfs with healing. So shield belt's getting nerfed by 12 to 10% lifesteal. It no longer grants 50% lifesteal for 8 seconds. Instead, it gives 13 to 35 AD when triggered, and it gives a larger shield. So that's just the nerf, like when you're about to burst someone and they just heal for like a billion HP, which makes you need um, grievous wounds. So now if someone has a mortal shield mode, you actually don't need uh, grievous wounds. Another viable option can just even be getting the thing that breaks shields, like by reduces by half if you're like an AD carrier or something or an assassin. So that's nice. Um, good, good change. Blade of the Rune King is getting a straight up nerf in two aspects: 12 to 10% lifesteal and siphon damage from 40. It's 40 to 120 to 40. Oh, actually, no, the siphon damage actually went up. That's actually interesting. I thought it went down. No, so that's interesting. They actually buffed the siphon damage. I think it's a good fine trade-off. Because it just goes in line with their reducing of healing. More damage is, I guess, nice because I think it did more damage anyway before. Cirque's gauge. So now when you get hit, like, so if one person hits you, you'll heal. But now if two or more hit you, each stack will be in 50% effectiveness. So that's quite a substantial nerf, honestly, because you can go in, hit everyone, everyone hits you. You can get like 4 or 5 stacks. Your shield pops. You have tons of shielding, and you just get a bunch of HP over time. So yeah, that's a good nerf. Because I'll be honest, Stargate Gaze is probably one of the more overloaded items because it gives. It's just so strong, honestly. Because it's not even like an item where it's like, oh, it only procs if they hit you. If you hit them, it counts as a stack, which is kind of funny. Um, there was also a bug apparently where it wasn't even healing you past the second, past the first heal stack, which is kind of weird. Leandri's English. This is a very funny change. I don't think this change honestly even does anything. If anything, I think it makes it more. Leandri's is such a hard item to balance because of how it works. So they're getting rid of the magic pen. So it used to be 5% magic pen every second, up to 15%, which is honestly very small. The passive itself is the reason people get it anyway. Um, Leandries now grants up to 12% bonus magic damage to champions based on our bonus HP, maximum 100 and 1,250 bonus HP. So yeah, the thing here is that uh, champions like Lillia will still probably always get this because everyone usually builds HP anyway. Because the reason people build so much HP is because it's so effective. Because armor and more precisely magic resist is just really bad in general. Like magic resist options are just terrible. So someone will build Asterix instead of magic resist, and it's a very light magic resist like a Merc Treasure or something. So they're actually like having the same damage, if not more, later on, uh, based on the build like generic builds people build. So I don't know. I don't think it actually solves anything. I think it just makes the problem worse, honestly, because it scales very well as the game goes on. Because I think I think the problem is that mid laners always build this, and not like Lillia, but like maybe they did because of Lillia, but mid laners always go this item just because it just the damage over time is just really good, and it actually kind of is counterproductive because they go voice staff. So I don't think this is gonna hit the mark honestly at all. So Luna's Tempest is interesting though because now it's dealing ability damage to an enemy champion now. Also reduces Echo's cooldown by 0.5 seconds, up to 3 seconds per ability. So I think if you hit like multiple targets, like if say by Lily Q hits like 3 people, I think it would be 1.5. I'm not quite sure because it's very cryptic. Kind of, it doesn't really explain that fully. But I think her passive would give her the whatchamacallit. I'm not sure if it even counts passive because it's ability. So it depends. Like Luden's Tempest might actually be good on Lilia and actually increase her clear speed, the same as Leandri's. It just kind of depends on how it works. So, but on mid lanes it can be very strong. Uh, but again, you need to note that it only works on champions to reduce cooldown. So yeah. Rabadon's death cap is reduced by 200 gold. That's a really big buff for like champions like Evelyn, honestly. Uh, and yeah, I mean that's just a big buff to Evelyn, honestly. Other champions that really want a death cap and not even get a voice up, like this is honestly just a big buff to Evelyn. So Evelyn is gonna be really nice now. I just opened up the picture of a death cap apparently. Seeker's Arm Guard. Uh, pretty much has this bonus armor cut in half, and you gain half as much armor per minion kill. I much needed a nerf because this item was just too strong and made 80 mids kind of poopy. Casting, like for instance, is winning matchups against AD mids, which is kind of funny. It's still a very strong item just because it's very slot efficient and gives you room to buy other items and like control wards and stuff. Um, you guys also remember that Zanya still gives full value, so it is still fine building it. So if anything, it kind of encourages you to finish your Zanya's ASAP. Verdant Barrier, kind of the same thing happened. Magic resist per kill went from 0.5 to 0.3. Max magic resist went from 15 to 9, and ability power went from 25 to 20. Uh, reason it didn't get reduced by like half is just because MR is kind of harder to get, so yeah, they're not going to nerf it directly in half. Uh, Australia's Battle Song from 90 seconds to 75 seconds. This item's always been strong. It's just very I don't know, people just kind of neglecting it, honestly. You're definitely going to see people use this item a lot more. This is going to be similar to Chem Tank, where it's just very similar, where having a champion running at 500 movement speed at you is very hard to counter. Shrinebreaker, HP from 300 to 200. Quite a big nerf, honestly. A lot of champions have percentage healing like Darius and Garen build this and stuff, so that's quite a big nerf. But they're squished here, but it is supposed to be more of an offensive option anyway, so I think that's good. Iron Spike Whip, reducing gold by 100, that's good. And cooldown increased by 5 seconds, that's fine because it's consistent with the other items. Uh, it's better to buy this for jungling now, so it's the same cost as Bami's Cinder, so now you can choose between this or Bami's Cinder if you want your backing, or a straight Dirk or whatever it's called. Some of our Aegis is getting quite a substantial buff. Ability haste from 15 to 20, and the immolate subsequent damage from 10% up to 60% to 12% up to 72%. Thing about this item to always remember is that it doesn't clear as fast as Frozen Fist or whatever it's called and Chem Tank, because this item does 100% bonus damage to jungle monsters. The other two do 150% bonus damage to monsters, so even on a champion like Zac, it might even be bad to get because it's really staggering how the 50% damage you lose building this is quite substantial. But maybe it's also the ability haste that you also lose. Um, Maybe if you go something like demonic embrace or something, it can be fine. It might even just make it more situational, like only get Sunfire Ages if they have a bunch of slows slash CC, and if they don't, then you can get Frozen Fist for Zac for the HP and slow on hit. And Shem Tank is I don't think that's good on Zac at all. So I think it might be fine. It just depends. Like on a champion like Sejuani, Sunfire Ages is definitely like probably the way to go, regardless. Although the slow resist is kind of wasted unless you're not in passive, but she does a lot of damage and she's good at stacking and she already has slows, so it's really good. Voice staff's getting a nerf. Oh no, actually a buff. Well, kind of. Yeah, kind of a buff and nerf. Getting ability power increased by 5. However, it costs 200 more gold. Um, Still a really strong item. Doesn't actually really solve anything because people will still build voice staff into Rabadons or just voice staff earlier because voice staff is just so strong. They need to nerf the pen on it, please and thank you. Or buff MR options. I honestly think they should nerf the pen by like 5% or 10% or 8% or something like that. This is a tad too strong. Or even like work something like 30% pen and then like I don't know, something with effectiveness like it does that to like the base magic resist and then something with bonus magic resist or something, because it shouldn't be so strong when no one has MR. Jungle camp changes. Gromp's gonna heal. Before he healed 60 to 230, and now it's 90 to 243. Levels 1 through 18. That's quite substantial early, especially. It's not so much substantial later on, but early on it's very strong. So uh, jungle clears that involve getting Gromp or like junglers that can get weak early on. Doing the Gromp's quite nice. Also, they increase the gold by uh, pretty much, well, wait, 10 or more at all levels. Like uh, at level 9, it's 168.75 XP. Now it's 182.25. So yeah, Grom's actually a more contested. It gives healing plus tons of XP, and it's not like Krugs where it's like super delayed. So it's kind of interesting that Krugs doesn't give as much experience even though they take long. Meanwhile, Grom just got buffed. So yeah, Grom's gonna be a huge camp to do. Because I've made quite a few plays where I smite Gromp and kill it, and you just get all your HP back, which is kind of funny. Um, Smite. Also, you remember that I believe Smite heals 10% of your max HP as well. I believe. I might be wrong about that. I think it does. 'Cause I don't think the healing is just that. It might even be missing. I honestly forget. Smite. Smite basically went from 70 to 90, so that's just nice. Again, just because of Revenant Hunter nerf. Overall buff because a lot of people won't be going Revenant Hunter anyway, and the junglers that don't build Revenant Hunter, well, they got buffed, so that's nice. Um, I also don't know if the Smite heal works. I think you have to use it on a camp. Yeah, I think you have to use it on a camp. I'm not quite sure. I think you do. Teleport. Teleport is just pretty much just changes. You can now teleport and gain full effectiveness from anywhere on the map, like instead of having to back and then teleport to stack home guards plus teleport. So like to the teleport's movement speed. So I think I believe it's a slight nerf to home guard. Yeah, it's a slight nerf to people who actually backed and then um got the double stacking, but it's pretty much a buff in terms of usability. Um, Rune's fleet footwork went from 30% AP to 20% AP. The reason again is just because it's too much sustain with AP mids taking this against bad matchups, and it's just too much healing. So good nerf. Revenant Hunter. This is the biggest nerf probably ever in a long time. Rune I've been complaining about for years, and Riot just kind of just didn't do anything about it. Revenant Hunter no longer heals 1% Omnivamp base without getting stacked. So if you take this rune, it does absolutely nothing unless you get a kill. And now even if you get a kill, it went from 1.7% healing Omnivamp to 1.5. So now it's only going to be what do we call it 7.5 healing Omnivamp when before it was I don't know around like 10% or whatever. So yeah, quite a substantial nerf. A lot of junglers are going to probably go into Relentless Hunter or Ultimate Hunter, and if they don't benefit from I don't like Relentless Hunter. I honestly don't. I think that's like for like weird junglers that roam a lot, which I don't like playing or even playing like. Ultimate Hunter is very strong though, but if they don't like Ultimate Hunter for whatever reason, they might even just go away from this tree and take a different tree, such as like conditioning and overgrowth or something for a similar effect, or like yeah. In-game shop updates. Anything useful? Not really. Yeah, not really. Um, anything that bugs in quality of life changes. Cassin's W now properly grants mana stacks from Tear the Goddess. Um, Serpent's Fang no longer applies to minions and turrets, so I'm not sure which minion would get shielded, but yeah, Janna was probably shielding turrets, and that kind of sucked probably. So whatever. Samir's W would sometimes not inflict damage. Fix the bug where Banshee's Veil would not show the cooldown in inventory. Fix two bugs where attacks from Urgot's W, Purge, and Lucian's passive Light Slinger did not count as unique attack instances for Manamuse stacking Murna mana on hit, Rune Hurricane, Rune's Hydra. Uh, I guess that's more build viability. Um, yeah, fix the bug where Stark's gauge bloodlust passive when I heal the user for each champion they were in combat with, so that's kind of funny. Fix the bug where burn man's on hit effects would not be applied every third attack when the player has had Gunsoo's Rage Blade. Another big change was Shyvana now properly gains additional fury from Cloud Dragons and Cloud Souls. I believe this has been bugged for like a year or two. I think like 2 years, honestly. So it's kind of funny they actually finally fixed it. I do wish Shyvana just got fury when she was dead, because Shyvana when you're losing is like the worst experience ever. Like dying as Shyvana feels twice as bad as dying on any other champion because your ultimate just doesn't go off, go take down, which is kind of stupid. That's all Shyvana ever needs, honestly, and it's kind of sad they don't do that. They think she needs a rework. Oh well, Shyvana's really good. Um, yeah, blah blah blah. Yeah, Divia's Glacial Storm no longer turns off when using Hextech Protobelt, which is definitely unintended. Um, Fix the bug where Daisy's third AoE attack was accidentally using Ivern's AD instead of Daisy's AD, which is kind of funny. So he got buffed. And yeah, that's it. So yeah, um, really interesting changes. Really big patch. Sustain get nerfed. Probably don't need to build um Grievous runes as much anymore, which is nice. Would like to see maybe even an ignite nerf because it's kind of funny that it's 60% reduction in healing instead of 40% when all the healing's been nerfed in the game pretty much. Don't think it's needed anymore. So hopefully they do something about that. Yeah, it looks good. So if you like this video or have any questions or comments, leave a comment. Bye.